From deep in the Burbank Media District, it's time for another edition of myBurbank Talks, presented by the staff of myBurbank. Now, let's see what's on today's agenda as we join our program.
Hello, Burbank. Craig Stewart here with you once again, along with Ross Benson.
How are you? myBurbank Talks. Oh, I can't put it on because I got these. Oh, forget it. But here, Burbank Talks, myBurbank Talks.
Well, myBurbank does a lot of things.
We do.
Well, this week, Craig Durling is on assignment, so we hope he's enjoying his assignment, whatever that might be. So he'll be hopefully back with us next week, because we always enjoy his perspective.
I wonder if he's listening.
He might be. Well, you'll find out. I'm sure he'll text you.
Oh, yeah, I'll get a text.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
We need his humor.
Yes, we do.
And that Boston, that good old Boston accent he gives us.
Well, let's talk about last week's winner to start with. Andrew Taylor. Congratulations. You have
get
won.
A drum roll or something? Or does
We should do that, shouldn't we? Yeah. There we go. Andrew Taylor. There we are. You won a $25 gift card to Hill Street Cafe.
Oh, boy.
And lots of great things you can buy with that gift card. A lot of great meals. I do recommend the soups. If you're a soup fan, you got to try the soups out. Yeah, they're made right
dressing
there.
too.
Yeah, you don't order dressing for as a meal. So let me have a side of Thousand Island and a Coke. Anyhow, so congratulations. Please send us your address so I can get that gift card mailed out to you ASAP.
Congratulations. Boy, I got to make sure my tooth is in here. Congratulations, Andrew.
Well, let's move back to last Tuesday, the 20th. The city reported that a judge, I guess the city had to go to court because they have the lawsuit against them about all the pine, the city wants to take all the pine trees out, 120 pine trees. And I guess they found that there was 8 pine trees, I think 1 on Santa Anita and 7 on Niagara that were in dire shape, which, I understand that. That's, and I agree with that. So a judge gave them the permission to take out those 8 trees for safety reasons. Not sure why they need to take out the other 110 other ones.
Well, I believe it was a restraining order to keep the city, until they got to court. But the judge said,
"Yeah, this is
an emergency.
Yeah,
situation.
It's a safety situation."
Yep.
And I get that, and we should take trees out when they're. And I don't think the residents are upset when you take out trees that are damaged or going to about fall or something. I think what the residents are upset with is why just take every tree out just to do it. So they have a good point there.
And the last couple of days, I don't care what TV channel you turn on, the news, what's it showing? Trees that have fallen into houses and.
Well, you look at how big Southern California is, they only find 3 or 4 trees every time. It's not like they find 40, 50, 60 trees,
right.
So.
We don't have the wind associated with it.
And they show hillsides, too. I mean, the hillsides of Burbank haven't come down, thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
But, we're not going to take all the homes away from the hillsides because they may get fallen on.
But I will say, this monitoring the city channels, our city, they're on it. They got forestry crews working. They got water and power crews, standing by if anything happens. So it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
How much rain did we get, did you say,
Today we got 11 thousandths of an inch.
Not a lot, but the next couple of days we might see some
more. We got a big one coming Friday and Saturday, they said.
Oh, boy.
And it's going to also be an Arctic one, which means they said snow maybe as low as 2,500 feet.
That would mean in my backyard.
Maybe on top of your head.
Yeah.
You better wear that hat.
Yeah, my Burbank hat, definitely.
Be my Burbank snow hat.
I'll tell you, I look out my back door and, I'm right up against the mountain, so you could see those towers real easy.
Well, you'll find out probably by Sunday morning, probably at the latest. So
I don't know if I'll be up by morning.
Well, before you go to bed, then it's probably the same thing for you. Wednesday, the police commission, which we couldn't tell you about last week because they never put the agenda online for us.
Did
you? And I guess you watched the meeting.
I caught part of it, and then I watched the rerun.
I just wonder if anybody mentioned the fact they violated the Brown Act by not putting their agenda online.
I don't know. I got a copy of it, I think, Tuesday, and supposed to be out Monday, but Monday was a holiday.
It should have
Presidents.
Yeah, put it on Friday then.
Well, you would think so. Yeah, I did watch the meeting and a recap, and I'll tell you, we had 2 commissioners not there, so it was I think we only had 5 commissioners. Meeting went, I mean, if you blink.
I actually turned it on around 8 o'clock, and
It was done at 7. I looked at my
it
clock.
was over. It was gone.
6:59. Now that our ACE PIO's office has the time on the bottom.
Yes.
Who did that?
Who did that? That was the that was Legend.
Legend,
did that,
Daniel.
yes. Daniel.
It's really nice that you could see, because when Mike Ellman said, "See you at the next meeting," it was 6:59. I go, "This is a first." Maybe those other 2 commissioners talked too much, but I don't want to say that.
I'll say something that we go in all the meetings, especially the council meetings. Every council member has to make a comment on everything. They just can't say, you know what, I agree, or that. But they've got to say the same exact thing the other person said, for 2 minutes, and nothing new came out of that conversation. Nothing new came out of the mouth, but it's just another agreement and thanking people. And we really need to have every council member. We know you're there.
Yeah, right.
Okay, it's your vote that counts, not the fact you say that you agree. We understand that.
So back to the police commission meeting.
So what happened at the meeting?
There were a couple of things. One, the commission had asked for, and I don't know if I have it down in the order that their agenda did, but they wanted a report from the chief on how do they choose a captain. Recently, J.J. Puglisi retired, and so there's an opening.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
Captain, my captain. And so the chief got up and he basically broke down. He's the one that makes the decision. There are, I believe, 4 divisions, and each one has a captain. And he was asked by some of the commission members, how do you choose? How do you go through that?
Well, which one's captainless right now?
Administrative, I believe.
Okay.
JJ was in charge of the jail communications, if I recall right. Services, kind of. And so the chief went on to say how he chooses police. The department also doesn't have currently a deputy chief. The whole department's being run by Chief Albanese.
Now, can he go outside the department and get a deputy chief or a captain? Or does he have to do it in the department? Or if he goes outside the department, does he have to go through a protocol or something?
I believe they did. I think he said he did.
Okay.
But he said, I don't know if I wrote it in my notes, there are only so many lieutenants, and that's who you choose from. And a couple of them don't have the required to be a captain. There's some schooling and so forth. So that was kind of interesting to hear him say how he does that. The other thing that they reported on was, and it's been on their agenda, they created a safety program, kind of, for drivers, educated drivers, and they're putting on a program at the schools. Well, Commissioner Coombs and Ramak Habegan took and created a flyer and a brochure that will be distributed. The Burbank Armenian Association backed them up and helped them out, and apparently they created for new drivers. And like the chief said at the podium, our cars nowadays are pretty, have so many different buttons, and
they're all hot rods.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he said. But this brochure is going to go to the dealers. Every car dealer is in with them. They're going to be handed out to new car owners, maybe some kids, and so forth. And it's just the warnings. After the fatal accident up on Glen Oaks, these kids have their CD player, their music going, and everything else going in a car. You got to concentrate on driving.
It'd be nice if we could also share that with Glendale.
Well, I know there's some relationship between a couple of them, and you're right. So that's something that, and it was too bad both commissioners were out last Wednesday, so they couldn't speak about it. So the chief kind of pinched it, and they even had their administrative clerk come in and tell a couple of commissioners what the purpose was. And that was the two reports that they talked about. I know the chief talked about some upcoming events that are coming up, but that was about it, and that's why they got out of there at 6:59.
Well, good for them. Move on to Thursday. Thursday, you were a busy guy this week. The conversation has started about Burbank on Parade in the future, and you were part of that conversation. So you don't really have to say who was involved, because I think it's very preliminary right now, and very it's early. But you said you had a lot of very interested people and a very enthusiastic people who really want to see, things like the parade come back again. So why don't you kind of give us a little bit of a, kind of what went on in that closed door meeting?
Well, it was, a lot of people, I see comments all the time. I'd love to see Burbank on Parade come back. It takes, we have found with Holiday in the Park, it's a big sense of community. People like to get out, and Burbank is a great community. And so it's very preliminary. We just kind of talked to a couple of us. There were a couple involved, and everybody is for it. But the big thing is, it might take a good year because we're thinking of budgets and getting it on people's calendars.
They might try to get it on Magnolia instead of all over 3rd Street where they were talking about. You might put it where it's going to help the businesses also.
Yeah, exactly. On Olive, you're helping out McDonald's, and yes, Talleyrand in the morning, but in Magnolia Park, there's a lot more.
Yeah, we don't need a parade for Raising Cane's.
True, and I don't know how you would get to Raising Cane's if you think about it, if you did it back down Olive, because...
Oh, what a shame.
You can only get in
By the way, speaking of Raising Cane's, and now let's get back on the second, I just saw that they're putting a Raising Cane's where the Firestone used to be in North Hollywood. It's at the corner of, what is it?
Lancashire,
Camarilla. Yeah, all right there. There used to be a Firestone.
Right.
And that's gone, and they're building a Raising Cane's there now. So it looks like it's probably 3/4 the way done. And then the other side, they used to have a fish and chips place.
Right, H Salt Fish and Chips.
That's now going to be Randy's Donuts.
Really?
So for you Tuke Lake people, there's a little bit of what's going on in the Tuke Lake area. But anyway, let's go back to the parade again.
That's going to be a busy intersection.
Yeah, they don't know what they're... LA doesn't care. They don't really care what neighbors think or anybody else.
But the best pizza around is still Little Tony's.
Little Tony's always good.
Been there for...
And they're open late.
Yep.
Which is always nice. Find somewhere open late in Burbank. Good luck.
Yeah, right. So back to the parade. There's a lot of things that we have to do some homework on. The biggest thing is to pay for it.
Well, I think you also were kind of talking about not just do a parade, but let's do an entire day on Magnolia. Let's do a stage show after, maybe set up a carnival on a different day somewhere else in the city.
There are a lot of ideas thrown
there's
around.
A lot of things going that we could do besides just the parade by itself. Make it
we want to show off Burbank.
Well, yeah, and it needs to be done. I'm so sick and tired of watching all the news every weekend saying, well, here's the 4th of July party here, here's the Memorial Day party there, there's the the Black History Parade here, and Burbank has
zip.
Yeah, all Burbank really has is
good timing there. So the conversation started. We're gonna get back together in about a month or so and see what some of the people found out information wise. But everybody's for it. Burbank on Parade will be back somewhere or another. And every year that they used to do it, you got to take into consideration the heat, time of the year, everything bothering the neighbors for, that you set up on their streets. So there's a lot to think about, and
they can make a sacrificial one. I'm sorry. Some neighbors going to complain, oh my goodness, you put a horse trailer on my street. That's it. The property values are going, get over it. Get over it.
That's what we have found.
Yeah, it's the good of the city. It's the good of the community that for one day, get out of your house, take your easy chair, go to the corner, and enjoy the parade.
Well, it so happens, I know some people that live a block off of Magnolia, and they have told me they loved years and years and years ago when the parade was on Magnolia. They did exactly that. Take their lawn chair, walk to the end of the block, and you love it. And then that day you can do other stuff. So there's a lot in the works that would get it done, and
Well, I'm going to say this.
you're for it.
I'm totally for it, but the thing I'm totally against is years ago we had Ronald McDonald as the Grand Marshal,
Oh,
and that is just a burr in my side that the best we could do in the media capital of the world is get Ronald McDonald as the Grand Marshal. So I'm going to say this to our studios, Disney, to Warner Brothers, to all the rest of them: step up, help us out with a good Grand Marshal. Find us somebody, that represents, usually they find somebody who has a movie coming out that month, and they get to be the Grand Marshal. Like they do for the Walk of Fame. Somebody gets a star, and all of a sudden their album drops or their new movie comes out that next month. Or fine, but it's all part of promotion.
oh, that's
Well,
right.
you know what? Come be a Grand Marshal. Sit in a car, go down the parade route for 45 minutes, get back in your helicopter, and go back to where you were. But help celebrate Burbank a little bit.
Yeah, those will all be things taken into consideration, and every time we've done a Burbank on parade, it might rain the day before, but it's always a Chamber of Commerce day. But the Chamber of Commerce, that came up in the conversation too. They've never done the parade. It used to be the realtors, and they've kind of.
Well, I think that the Chamber of Commerce is kind of doing is kind of getting more in tune with the city than they used to be. I think it was a very, I don't want to say stuffy, but it was, kind of an old guard, and they just kind of talked about, the businesses with money and that kind of thing, the big businesses. Where I think now the Chamber's kind of looking at smaller businesses and the health of the whole business community in Burbank. And what can we do to help Magnolia Park?
That's right.
So that's, hats off to them, to Jamie and her staff. I think, she's trying to do a good job with that.
So we'll keep everybody posted. Like I said, our next meeting I think is April, so you might not hear me talk about it for a little while.
Well, I'll tell you what, when it starts getting a little closer and you start needing people to help volunteering, such as, set things up, and because that's an 8-month process, let people know and how they can get involved, because you might, if you get 5 or 6 people that says, I want to be part of the solution.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I'm a member of the Magnolia Park Merchants Association, and they just last week put out for this year's Holiday in the Park, we need some volunteers. And if you love the event, it doesn't mean that night you're going to be sitting at a table or directing traffic.
Well, that's my problem.
But there's positions we're going to change up a Holiday in the Park a little. We could use some volunteers for that. So if you guys, most people know how to get a hold of me.
30,000 people show up to that.
That's true. That's what we had.
You're doing it for Burbank.
Yep.
Well, let's move on to the weekend. A couple things. One was kind of a little bit of tragedy. There was a hit and run accident in the Castaways parking lot, and it was put out as a felony hit and run, which means there's hit and runs, but once somebody's injured and you leave the scene, now it becomes a felony. So I'm not sure what the injuries were, but it was a felony hit and run that happened in the parking lot. Hopefully they have cameras somewhere up there so they can at least get the vehicle or something.
If I heard right, somebody that had a Tesla got it all on their
very good.
car camera. Not only the color of the car, the person, everything. I've put in a request from the PD's PIO because we've gotten some emails from people that thought it was a lot more serious. We'll have an answer next week. We're going to find out.
We'll find out.
And we'll get back.
In the meantime, I'm sure we'll have a story in myBurbank when we do find out.
Yep. That's not the first time we hear the police go up there quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty long trip going up that road, even code 3. So,
well, something else something good on the weekend also. And Burroughs VMA, the Vocal Music Association, held their Pop Show 45 on this weekend, and their final show was on Saturday. Oh, I think it was Sunday, wasn't it?
Sunday
Final
too,
show was
yeah.
Sunday, yeah. You went to one of the showings? You love it. I know you love that. So,
I really do. I went to
had a little bit of an issue at the show you were at, but besides that, give us a little rundown.
I tell you, the people at Burroughs put on a great show. It was a sellout. They sold everything out. I mean, that's how popular, and they advertised with us. I know that.
Yeah.
But these
must
kids,
be that ad that did it.
well, we did have a cover article.
Yeah, I think people love the show, though. I think people want to go every year just to see
Well, it's funny.
how much talent there is.
And I go, and there's a lot of people that don't have kids in Burbank schools that go to it.
Right.
But yeah, I was sitting in the back shooting pictures. There's a photo gallery up on myBurbank, and there were some hooligans that chose to sit in the back row and, make some cat calls. And they didn't realize, I don't think, that they were sitting right behind some administrators. Well, they got escorted out, and I heard on my earpiece that listen, Burbank PD got called.
15 minutes later.
Well, I heard it 15 minutes later.
Exactly.
But it's funny because I was sitting shooting. These kids were bugging me too. I mean, it was uncalled for. You don't go to a Broadway show and you hear people in the back row heckling and making noise. And kind of just frustrates me that these kids can walk in. These kids put on so many hours to rehearse and sing, and then to have somebody yell something in the audience. So they got escorted out. And I don't believe Burbank took them in, but I guarantee Burbank got their names and will remember who they were.
Well, let's hope the school, if there are students there, let's hope the school calls them in and says,
Yep.
Yeah, they can't do anything to at least talk. I mean, who knows if talking to these kids does anything out nowadays? Well, if there's no consequences.
Well, exactly.
That's why the DA has all the problems now. There's no consequences for doing crimes anymore.
Yep. Well, and I thought about that while sitting there. I wonder if there'll be a consequence. Do these parents even know where their kids are? Oh, I'm going to go out with Jimmy or Johnny and.
Well, I can get that, but maybe the parents should be called afterward, and said, hey, your son came in and was disruptive during our, and knowing some of these parents will say, yeah, what about it? Seriously, I worry. I worry about some of the attitudes at home.
Yep.
So, but besides that, great show, though. I mean,
fantastic show.
I know your pictures were, I looked today, that you put them up a day ago, and they've already had like 1,200 views already.
Yeah, quite a few people took a look at them. I love shooting it, and I tell you, they're just, these kids get in front of, 1,000 people and perform and entertain. They do it so well. So great show. I would look forward. I think there's another play coming up or something. So
there's always something coming up. That's what they do.
Yep.
Well, okay, that's it for the week that was. And before we get to the week that will be, we are going to have a quick commercial break. So we'll be right back after this.
How would you like your business advertised in this very spot? myBurbank Talks is looking for local businesses interested in a 30-second spot to appear in our podcasts. If you're interested, please email advertising@myburbank.com, and we'll be glad to discuss all of the exciting possibilities with you. Now, back to our podcast.
Okay, we're back with you. And Craig Sherwood once again with Ross Benson.
Howdy ho! Oh, I got to push that button. Howdy ho! And
Craig Jordan's on assignment.
Yep.
And we'll get back to him next time, hopefully.
Hopefully next week he'll return to the country.
Let's talk about today. Today being Monday the 26th. The transportation. Now, this I didn't understand. The Transportation Commission met today at 5 o'clock at the Community Services Building for a special meeting. It was a special meeting. So I looked at it and I go, oh, wow, what's going on? They need to call a special meeting for. And on the agenda was evaluation of bike and pedestrian counts. I'm going, how important is that you have to call? Oh, there's something else on the agenda. Oh, yeah, there is. It's the business card policy. So why we need a special meeting for those two items? I'm confused, but that's, a lot of things that these commissions do sometimes kind of confuse me. So,
well, how many numbers did they have?
Well, it was interesting that they talked about, they did a count of bike and pedestrians. And I guess they only used First and Olive as an example. And in a 12-hour period between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., 350 pedestrians were in that intersection at one time or another, using the crosswalks there. Now, that's pretty hard, but you got to remember, there's Metrolink stations right up the bridge there. If people are willing to go up to the suicide elevator and take that down to to the Metrolink. That's pretty good. They're pretty good count though, and they really didn't have anything for bikes. They have a lot of graphs and things like that, and sometimes the technology gets to be so overwhelming that you can't even read what the technology gives you. You got to have a specialist just to read what it is. But
I sure hope they don't plan on making.
I just wonder how
First
many.
Street
I wonder how many bikes use that all overpass. That's got to be one of the most dangerous bike crossings in the city. That and Magnolia Bridge are just dangerous because you go on the sidewalk. It's not very wide, and the guardrail's only 3 feet tall.
Right.
I mean,
and those cars are whizzing
and
by.
there's not enough room on the lanes for bikes.
Well, that's why down the road someday, hopefully in our lifetime, they're going to widen that bridge and add that, because how are you going to get to?
We'll see when that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be like the Burbank Bridge. It'll take 2.5 years after they promised it in 18 months. Yeah, you know how we love to spend our tax money over and over and over again.
But you know what? We can all look back. I remember Jess Telemontis. We attended a ribbon cutting of the 170 and the 5, and they gave a timeline of when that intersection. I think 8 years went by.
Oh, the carpool lane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And him and I kept looking at each other. Same thing with the Burbank. The that whole changing of the train tracks and everything. And I recall everybody going, "Will it ever get done? Will it ever?"
And really, it hasn't been finished really because they're still trying to put a bike lane in.
Yep.
They haven't put the landscaping in. Yeah, I mean it's
ran out of money how many times?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Your tax dollars at work.
Isn't that what one of the signs say? Your
tax dollars at work. Exactly. The planning commission was scheduled today, but they didn't meet. They had nothing to talk about. There's no planning going on.
I did notice that we had put in on myBurbank. They're looking for.
Yes, I guess the planning commissioner quit or left the planning commission, so there's an opening. So I think you have another 2 weeks to get your application into the city clerk's office. You go to myBurbank, you'll see a little story and where you can put your application.
I believe there's a link you can do it all.
Yeah, you do it right to the city clerk's office.
And that could be one of the reasons why maybe if somebody is sick.
Well, but you need to have 3 for a quorum.
Right.
So, you can still go with 4.
Yeah, I guess
if a vote ties 2-2, then you have to wait till you get a 5th member then.
And with so much going on in the city, you would think that they would have a full agenda, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Well, Tuesday, now, once again, my confusion of how the city works, we're going to have 2 meetings at the exact same time. One being the granddaddy of them all, the city council meeting, but at 6 p.m. also, Arts and Public Places is going to meet at 6 p.m. at the Community Services Building. So they're going to meet exactly the same time as the city council. And they're going to talk about a final art design for the Ritzy, which is, of course, the Regional Intermodal Transportation Center by the airport. That's been there for 10 years, that they're only 10 years behind on the artwork now. So I guess it's time to finally figure something out for that. By the time they get the artwork put in, the terminal's going to be gone.
How true.
And that Ritzy's going to be there with no way to get to it. Because the terminal's going to be a long way away.
Yeah, we haven't been shared that yet, how that's working. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting. But you brought up the council meeting is.
Council meeting is at 6 o'clock.
Now, I have a funny feeling. Did you look at that agenda?
I did look at the agenda, but I saw a note you put out here, which we had our Ask the Mayor show last week, which a lot of people give us great remarks on, and then Nick Schultz, our mayor, was here for his February Ask the Mayor podcast, and he I thought it was a great podcast. It went about an hour and a half, which is kind of long for those usual podcasts, but every minute of it was informational. And, every question put to him, he came up with something.
But did you notice?
He's going to be Washington, D.C. this week.
That's right. He is, he'll be out of town and he will participate. Yep. Now, I wonder, you got to remember, If we go up to 11 and midnight,
Did he bring the gavel with him?
oh no, I don't think he
Oh.
can run the meeting from up
Well,
there.
why couldn't he?
I don't know. That would be
Yeah, I don't know why he couldn't. I'm sure he'll have Nikki Perez do it, but
right.
he could do it, and
But think of the time difference. It'll be 3 in the morning if they go past midnight.
yeah.
So he's earning his.
And guess what? Anticipate them going past midnight.
You see how many things are
Yeah, the agenda's pretty full.
not only pretty full. I hear there's a lot of people are gonna speak on a couple of items that are on the agenda. So, and honestly,
And how many people I bet are going to show up to speak on non-agenda items such as the olive restriping, which everybody's complaining about and wants to know why they did it? Listen to the Ask the Mayor podcast. He explains it all right there.
well, after he explained it, our city's PIO office put out a very informational piece that was brought out months ago of why they did it and how it's working and what's going to happen. So
And soon, San Fernando Boulevard.
next week, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
They're closing that baby down for a while to make it one way.
Yep. So you know what? How many people are going to go, they never talked about this. How did we know about it? Why didn't we know about it?
Yeah.
And that's what our show is about.
They want to complain about things, but they don't want to take the time to the information's there.
That's
All they have to do is listen to one of our shows, and they will find out. You know what? If there's something you don't know, then send us an email, and we'll find out the answer on the air for you.
That's right. Especially on the downtown and that olive restriping. I get it. I've gotten notes. People have emailed me personally about the olive between Glen Oaks and up on the hill.
Yeah.
That's been talked about. I lived on that block for over 10 years. The people that live there are loving it. It's slowed down traffic. But I will also say, coming here tonight, I took a look up there, and putting stop signs every 6th, 7th, 9th, slows
The only
traffic
thing
down.
that you kind of mentioned in our pre-show meeting was there's no place for bike lanes. I have all that road up there and nowhere for bikes to safely traverse,
Yeah, unless they ride in that center, spot.
which is not where you want to be if you're on a bicycle.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but,
Once again, somebody just didn't. I don't know. It confounds me how city to city doesn't talk with each other. We have the complete bike strategies and all these things, yet we don't even think about bikes on a.
well, I think further along in the agenda you had on here, I thought I saw on here, is they're going to be paying a consultant.
Yeah, well, we'll get to. Yeah, let's get to the meeting. We'll get to that. So there's going to be a closed session, and one of the things they're going to talk about is they're going to negotiate with the city employee.
Negotiator.
Yeah, the negotiator for the employment agreement with the city union. Hello, easy to get that out, isn't it? I'm trying to read ahead before I read what I was trying to read. So they're going to be talking to the negotiator for the city's employees union. So I'm sure they all want a raise, and hopefully they can get a raise. And hopefully we can keep employees in the city, because it seems like every time we look left and right, there's a new person in that position. Mid-management seems to change on a daily basis sometimes.
I took a look at the list of open positions. There's over 100 different positions that people can. It just gets me.
I have a lot of red tape trying to get a position, though. So
Yep.
they're also going to talk about their employment agreement with the city attorney. Now, of course, city attorney and the city manager are the only two employees that work for the city council. So that's up to them to talk to them about their job and their raise and all those kinds of things. So that's on the closed session.
I wonder if that's where the city attorney can say, I need another dozen attorneys.
No,
Probably not.
No,
That's budget time.
That's the budget time.
Okay.
They are on the consent agenda. What they want to do is award $414,000 to a company for program management of the Metro Transit Corridor project, and other projects like the San Fernando Bikeway. Here we go, Bikeway again. The Chandler Bikeway, the First Street Protected Bikeway, the Front Street Protected Cycle Track, and the Bonnywood street closure. And of course, they still want to configure the Olive Sparks Verdugo intersection, which means they want to make it the way they want to do to that what they did to what we used to call 5 Points at Victory and Burbank, and they want to make the intersection come
3
out.
points.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, I drive in here, I come down Scott Road, and if you think about it, Scott and Glen Oaks, they did that.
Yeah.
Where they turn it right here at Alameda
And Riverside.
Pass.
Yeah.
Yep,
I was
they
in
did
Riverside
that.
Drive. They did that.
So there's a reason why they want to eliminate that weird intersection. And how many times have you sat at Olive and Sparks and somebody is sitting in the middle of the street going, I think I goofed up here. They look all.
Well, Lord knows how many times they reconfigured the Alameda and Olive
Right.
signals because they didn't figure out which car should go at which time to which, and then we had accident after accident. But it's funny how a lot of this stuff is for bikeways, but yet they don't think about the bikeway when they come up with a project like the East Olive project. But
Well, the one thing I will say, Olive and Alameda in front of the old NBC, I sat there so long tonight, I took a look to the right. A&O Liquor's closed. Been closed for apparently a long time.
it has, really.
I think they changed to configure
Yeah.
that intersection. But, you sit there long enough, you start looking around and go, A&O was there before Orange Julius.
Oh, yeah. It was.
Yeah, so I was kind of surprised to see that. But
This is going to be a $414,000 contract they want to give them on a yearly basis.
right, but did you notice the gentleman or the company that they want to go with? He's the one that did most of the work up on the 5 project, so he's quite
good.
familiar.
Yeah, it only takes us 20 years to get it done then, if we go by that timetable.
Well, apparently of all the people that applied, he is the one consulting company that has good relationship with quite a few of the different companies that the city uses, government agencies like.
yeah,
who to talk to.
they all love each other, don't they?
Oh yeah, McGregor.
So
That was his name, McGregor.
$414,000 every year. And I'm going to tell you right now, when we come up with that Metro Transit Corridor project, that's going to become a huge situation. I don't care. You and I were talking earlier. Right now, Magnolia's on the plans to go to phase 2, which means put a center medium in down Magnolia and have traffic go one way in each direction. Verdugo, traffic going one way in each direction. They want to do that now to Olive, in each direction. Where are the car? They're going to go Clark, Oak, all the residential neighborhoods. They're going to start all going because there's just too many cars, and they're all going to be one lane traffic on 3 major streets between Burbank and Riverside Drive. In fact, Riverside Drive is one lane of traffic.
But
So
if
it'll be
you
Alameda
recall,
only.
their big thing when they talked about green streets and safe streets plans, it's all to slow everybody down.
Well, guess what?
It's going to stop.
They're going to be they're going to take 40 minutes to get from one side of the city to the other.
Well, I will say I live above the freeway now, but to come down to the flatlands at certain hours, to come down Verdugo to get to Hollywood Way, it's backed up past California. And I have made calls to the traffic department, and I know they've redone the signals and everything.
It's interesting when I go up Hollywood Way northbound from Alameda up to Victory or up toward the airport or whatever. I'm usually stopping at every signal. I'm stopping at Verdugo. I'm stopping at Magnolia. I'm stopping at Burbank. I'm stopping at Victory. But if I'm up the other way and I start coming back southbound, usually I don't stop at all the way down to Verdugo to make my right-hand turn. I don't stop at all. So somehow they've figured that out southbound at the price of northbound.
But do you remember here, this one is going to make you look back a couple of years. Think of all the employees that used to leave Lockheed at 3 and 4 p.m. and they would be
Buena Vista was hammered.
Buena Vista, Hollywood Way. I remember motor officers sitting at Whitnall for cars sneaking through that Clark light, and they'd write them tickets. I think it was Warren Hess and Pace Singer and all. They just loved sitting there, years ago. But, Yeah, we have a lot more cars in town, but
Yeah, I just don't. You know what? I look at these buses, and nobody's on these buses.
you mean not the Metro, you mean the Burbank bus.
I look at the Metro too sometimes, and they're not very well ridden. And okay, so they want to make this quarter from North Hollywood to Pasadena. How many people want to go from Pasadena to North Hollywood? How many people want to go from North Hollywood to Pasadena? They're acting as though it's to be thousands of people.
Right.
You know, let's try to get 100 people in a day to use the bus right now. And you're gonna take away. We'll get into this when it comes up because I'm gonna get all fired up for these things.
Well, that's next month, if I
That's
recall.
next month.
But I know that
There's going to be a protest
right.
before the council meeting about this. Now, I'm sure they'll come in and they'll talk about it, but the council cannot talk to them because it's not on the agenda.
But that's funny because
All those consulting company, if they have it on the thing for talking about that, and technically it is on the agenda.
that's what I was thinking when I read the agenda, and they planned on being there to protest tomorrow in front of City Hall. All those people are going to go in and write. Can't they consider that agenda item?
I think they should, yeah. Just say,
Because it is on the agenda.
yeah, you're having an agenda. You're hiring a contractor to deal with this, so we're going to talk about it.
That's what I'm kind of wondering. So that's why I said,
Well, I'm sure old Mr. McDougal is going to say, well, that's not exactly the way the agenda was supposed to be. But you know what? Those 3 words are on there. The 3 words that say Metro Transit Corridor.
So that makes me wonder, tomorrow's meeting might be, because
Yeah.
people are going to talk about the lining up on Olive
Oh,
above Glen Oaks.
and they can't talk about that.
Right, but then people are going to talk about this.
Also,
Now, did you say that was on the consent agenda, isn't it?
consent agenda.
But still, they could
Doesn't
talk
matter. They
about
can still talk about that. Oh, yeah.
it. Okay, that's what I thought.
And the council can pull that item on the agenda to talk about it separately, too, if they wanted to.
Okay.
So, something I thought was interesting, in our world of listening to radios and everything else. Burbank, Glendale, and Pasadena. I should. Did you know what year that started? Verdugo Dispatch. Do you remember what year that started offhand?
Ooh.
Okay, I'll let you look it up if you can for a second. Back, I want to say close to 20 years ago, Burbank, Glendale, and Pasadena all got together and put their fire dispatch centers together, and they called it Verdugo Fire Dispatch. So you used to have a Burbank person sitting next to the Burbank police dispatchers, and they would dispatch Burbank fire engines and Glendale and Pasadena, and all 3 got together and said, let's have it out of one location. So they did that, and as time's gone on, other cities have joined also. So right now, Verdugo Fire Dispatch has the cities of Alhambra, Arcadia, Monrovia, Montebello, Monterey Park, San Gabriel, San Marino, Sierra Madre, South Pasadena, and the Hollywood Burbank Airport are all part of right now Verdugo Fire Communications, and they dispatch all the engines and everything else. So, in a news media way, it's interesting that we can hear what's going on in other cities all the time. In fact, I know that a year or so ago, they had that mass shooting in Monterey Park, and we were listening to that whole thing live as it happened, and the tragedy of all that. But it was interesting to be able to listen to that and listen to the professionalism of all those paramedics and firemen that were at the scene that night. Anyhow, they are going to add now the city of West Covina. And they're going to be, for those who listen to the radios, they're going to be the 120 units. So like 121, engine 122, engine 123. And they give you an example. You see, every city has its own number system. So Burbank used to be engine 1 and engine 2 and all that. And Burbank became the 10. So now we have engine 11, engine 12, and so on.
Now we got
Glendale has the
18,
20s.
19.
Yep. Glendale has
17?
the 20s.
Yeah.
Pasadena has the 30s, and so on and so on. So the West Covina is going to be the 120s. So we've heard them dispatched already. Now, I thought was interesting was the contract. It just is up for approval with the city council. It's kind of formality. But they expect to make about $841,000 per year on this contract. But here's what I found was interesting. What they do is they charge per dispatch. And the charge is $84.13 every time they dispatch an engine or a paramedic unit for the city of West Covina. $84 every time they get on that mic and say, engine 121 go to a heart attack at, some place. That's $84.
And the last couple of days,
A lot of calls.
they've been busy. You had asked a minute ago, the Verdugo Dispatch Center started in 1979.
79. Okay, so we're talking, 79. Are you sure?
Took it right off
Wow.
their webpage.
Wow. So it's 45 years ago.
Yeah, because I remember their 30th.
See, you and I both remember before we had Verdugo, it was Burbank Engine 1 and,
Oh, yeah.
and Burbank 11A. They had all the strange little numbers. But wow. So 45, we've listened to the radio that long too, haven't we?
Yep, because I remember they gave away for their 30th anniversary a coin,
Right.
which I still have some that were, and it was a 30th anniversary. So,
Wow. So 5 more years, we're going to have that big 50 coming up.
and the technology, they put out calls.
Well, we've been lucky enough to go to the Verdugo
Many times.
Communications Center, and they've got the screens are
State of the art.
Yeah, it's like a aircraft control room in there,
Well, they never go to sleep.
Kind of looks like my office out here in my my control center.
I
No,
think that's how you kind of made your office look like.
yes.
But their consoles, everything that they do there, they talk to all these agencies. If you can go online just put in Verdugo Fire Dispatch, and their whole story.
It's all on there. It's very interesting. So anyhow, that's on the agenda. They're going to welcome West Covina in. It's kind of a done deal, but
And I remember,
and once again, one of the advantages of that, it's called Area C, where they all work out of, and Area C kind of all works together. So if there's a huge brush fire in Burbank, Lord knows, hopefully never, but we get an aircraft go down in Burbank or something. Area C is going to come respond to that. That means engines from everywhere it's called mutual aid, and we'll get
same thing
everybody
with
here.
the police department. If there's ever a major incident,
Right.
they are involved with Area C,
Right.
and they get called. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. The state of the art now with cell phones. Okay, you take your cell phone and you dial 911, and you're in the middle of who knows where. See, they're coming now, and you don't know where you are. They can plot you where you are by cell towers. That's technology.
Yeah.
If you're driving down the freeway, your call will go into usually CHP, but now they'll go into the local agency. Let's say you're at Angelino on the 5. It'll route your call right to Burbank. And if they have to transfer you to Verdugo, the technology, like I said, I remember when it all started many years ago. Good friend Rich Kaufman and Don Weiss were the first supervisors.
Rich Kaufman, what a great guy.
Yep.
R.I.P. for Rich.
So that's kind of interesting. 8413 a call. You know what? I think I'm gonna start tallying every day.
Well, they're going to make about $841,000 a year on this. So I can imagine all the other cities, Burbank, Glendale, Pasadena, they're not paying that money because they're collecting for all the other cities.
But the 3 chiefs of Burbank, Glendale, and Pasadena are the chiefs that oversee the whole thing. Because you also didn't mention Bob Hope Airport.
I did.
Oh, did you? And also,
actually, we call it Hollywood Burbank Airport now.
Oh.
Bob Hope is the terminal.
Well, with their new radio system,
or actually, Bob Hope. It actually is officially at Bob Hope Airport still.
There's a post office, Bob Hope Post Office.
They just branded it Hollywood Burbank, but the official legal name is still Bob Hope Airport.
I wonder if they're going to keep that bust of him as you walk in.
I think they kind of arranged it with the family.
Oh.
And I think it still says it inside the terminal.
Oh yeah, as you walk in.
Yeah. We always had to wonder, does Bob Hope? Anyhow. Wait, I have a... Oh, wait. Wrong one. There we go. Holy cow.
Thanks for the memories. Oh.
Let's see. On the council agenda, there's going to be a public hearing. Interesting. They're going to change the municipal code to have an ordinance on dangerous and vicious animals. Now, the animal shelter is being run by the Park and Rec Department, and they need to have something on the books. So if a dog attacks somebody, that they have a way of, prosecuting through the city attorney's office. And I don't think a lot of people know this either, that when a dog, nobody knows if their dog's going to go after somebody or not, but if your dog goes after somebody and they bite somebody, you get a freebie. You get one
First
free
one.
bite. The first bite's free. And then as long as it doesn't happen again for 36 months, you're off the hook. But if they bite somebody else in that 36 months, you are financially and legally, you're on the hook. Because now you have a dog that is known to bite people. So once he does it once, now you know he'll bite people. Now you better be on your best behavior with the dog. But
Okay, I'm going to share a little secret with our followers. I had a dog, a Cocker Spaniel. Cocker Spaniels like to snip. I did not know this dog. I rescued it from a friend. I was about to take it to the vet to be looked at, and I put him on one of those leashes that pull out,
right,
that extend, and I walk out the back of my house, and my dog sees a man walking by the sidewalk.
he started.
He didn't do that. He walked up to smell the guy, and the gentleman put his hand out,
Uh-oh.
and my dog greeted him with a snip.
Yikes.
Well, I went in,
Did he
got
draw
some
blood?
Oh, he drew blood.
Ooh.
Well, the gentleman, I started talking to him, and I got the dog put in the house, and the gentleman said, I wrote his name down, and his name was Gorlick. And I'm scratching my head, Samuel Gorlick. Sir, were you the city attorney for the city of Burbank?
Uh-oh.
And retired several years? Yes, I am. Well, I got a call that night, and he asked me, do you own the house that you live in?
Did he really call and ask you that?
Oh, he sure did.
Oh, why do people hate attorneys?
Well, with
Why
that,
do people hate attorneys?
well, you talk about a little pucker power.
Yeah.
With that, I called an attorney. I called other people. One,
Holy
I
cow.
called to make sure that he was okay.
Yeah.
I followed up.
Because you were concerned. You weren't just,
Oh.
I mean, you didn't know.
I had no clue this dog was a biter,
Right.
and I'd learned that. Well, finding out that law, Burbank law, that I did not know because I had just gotten the dog a day
I'm
before.
sure he was disappointed. I'm sure he looked in to see if there was another complaint against that dog. He was sure disappointed he couldn't come get money out of you.
Talk about it. I was just
Bloodsucker.
scared to death. And, I followed up. He said, well, yeah, my hand got real black and blue, blah, blah. And I'm going, oh, great. This case is getting thicker.
And I got whiplash. And,
Well, thank
I
God.
need a wheelchair to get around now. And
Thank goodness I did not get sued. But,
I guarantee you would have if he had a way of doing it.
yeah.
That's too bad because that's,
But that's where, when I saw this on the agenda, I flashed back to that. I remember
oh, I can
the
imagine.
day. But there's a reason also with the dog park being put in now, and they are more bites. You and I hear them all the time.
Sure.
They get dispatched for
Well,
police
it says
report.
there's been 18 potentially dangerous dog cases and 8 vicious dog cases in the last 4 years. So yeah, it does happen. And they're dogs. So dogs do what dogs do. Don't dogs? Of course they do.
I brought Dodger a new toy.
Yes, you
He's
did.
out.
Dodger is absolutely.
He is
We
laying.
didn't have the Dodger cam on tonight, so
He is laying next to me with his toy that I brought him. He is.
he's in love with that toy. I'm so happy because now he has.
He's out.
Yes. Also, the council agenda. Here comes. I don't know if this will be a long item or not. It may not be, but there's that possibility. They need to approve an SB 35 request for 3201 Olive. Now, in case you don't know where that is where formerly the Bob Hope Museum was supposed to go. And before that, it was, of course, a Shell station on the corner of California and Alameda and Olive, in that whole little area right there.
The reason I'm scratching here, I'll make it look good. Scratching my head. I don't know if that includes the Shell station.
We call it triangle, yeah.
Right, and there was a pumpkin patch there.
Right.
But the lot next to it.
Right between that and Whole Foods.
Yeah, and, I thought I had written stuff on our show notes. This was brought up, it's been brought up, I don't know how many times. And when Jeff Worth wanted to originally do this, the council was all over him
Oh, yeah.
about the height of the building and blah, blah, blah. And then Mr. Worth, being the businessman he is.
And I don't blame him. He said, fine, we'll make it SB 35. And guess what? You lost your right to work with me now because you wanted to put all your regulations in and cost me a lot of money in architecture and everything else he was trying to do in planning. We'll make an SB 35, and now your hands are tied.
That's right. You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
But I want to say on that.
But he's not here to screw people. But he wants.
Right.
He's got property sitting there he wants to develop, and he's sick and tired of waiting. Now, this is going to be a proposed 144 residential units, be a 5-story mixed-use building, 1,058 square feet on the ground level of retail space. And here's always the thing that cracks me up. So it's SB 35 because it has affordable housing. And that's going to have 15 affordable units. So 15 out of 144. So that means basically 129 units get as much as you want. If this people who made SB 35 and all these SBs, they said you got to make half your units low cost. Would all these developers be doing this?
No way. But I will say, down around the media district.
And by the way, the low-income housing is only deed restricted for 55 years. So after 55 years, it's gone. How it is gone.
But how many? Think about it. We're not going to be here 55 years. But that piece of property, I drove by it coming here tonight. I looked it over. I remember when it was a dirt lot with tumbleweeds on it.
Oh yeah.
And people complained that it needs to be landscaped. So Mr. Worth went in and put in drought tolerant plants.
Yeah,
and
little
takes care of it.
Pathways and
a little walkway so you walk through there. If you look at any of his projects, he makes adults is a good example. That's the one I always say. I think I shared a couple weeks ago, one of the buildings that he has taken over for Warner Brothers was across from the smokehouse. And I dropped off a friend over there one night near the smokehouse. The grass during the day, and the grass around the building was real high. And I called somebody with Jeff Worth's office. I got a picture back 2 hours later. The grass was cut. That's how fast he responds. You don't find any graffiti or dirt. He loves the city. He's built 19 projects now.
And I'll say people like him, the Cusamanos, they do care about Burbank.
His goal is not to make money.
No,
he's got all these high rises.
But he has got money tied up in this property for it's tight. They say, shoot or get off the pot, right?
Well, that's why.
That's my dad at Forest Lawn would say all the time.
That's why he built the diamond buildings for Warner Brothers for their 21st century. He's building the park building that was on the agenda a couple weeks ago. The sign went up.
16 down stages at Warner Brothers Ranch. I mean, he's like halfway done with those things.
How quick is that going? The sign went up on that property the other day, required by law that you got to put a sign up.
Oh, okay. They did put one up finally.
But you know how many people are on Facebook saying, oh, you know what that's going to do for traffic? You know what that's going to do for the neighborhood? How much did they pay for that on-ramp?
Yeah.
At Hollywood Way in Alameda with this in mind?
I remember when they built the Armoretto Hotel.
Hotel Armoretto, yeah.
And everybody, you can't, it's going to ruin the traffic. It's going to be, everybody's going to be jaywalking. And then they went to put the pool and they put the bar. Oh my goodness, you can't, you know what? They're all the doomsayers. The world's going to end until we do it. And I guess that's okay now.
Well, it's funny. I have been in Hotel Armoretto many times. I've done showers in there. I've done business meetings in there. One day I'm sitting at there.
You went to people's shower. You didn't actually take a shower there.
No, a bridal shower.
Oh, okay.
Standing at the counter, who goes bam? What famous chef always says bam when he's cooking away?
Emerald
Lagasse standing at the counter.
I'm a Gordon Ramsay fan myself.
Well, only place he will stay when he comes into Burbank. The celebrities that book at Hotel Armoretto, 5-star, and they
that's right close to the studios, so it's good for them. Yeah, it's expensive, but they're taken care of well there.
They sure are. So hopefully the council will approve of that project, and it's
well, they're going to have to. I don't think they really have a choice.
Yeah, they don't have a choice. SB 35.
The last thing that's kind of noteworthy is that the Charter Review Committee is going to make their final recommendations. And to change the charter, they have to have, you yeah, it has to be a vote to the people and all those things. It was interesting. The only thing they want to really change is the city's commitment to social equity and anti-discrimination, the way it's read in the charter. They want to change the wording of it. But they decided they don't want to take any action regarding term limits. And that's kind of been a hot issue for a while now, that, should Burbank council people, have 2 terms the way, they do in other elected areas. I think the state is 12 years between Senate and Assembly. So they said, no, Burbank really doesn't need that. Now, 2 ways to look at that. I actually made the mistake years ago. We started going into a little bit of depression, and Dave Golonsky had been on the council for forever. And he said, part of his reelection, I've been through it. I know how to deal with it. I kind of trusted him that, he's been through that and his experience. And what did he do? He helped sell us out with pensions and everything else that were unfunded and the whole thing. And now he moved on, and I don't think he lives in Burbank anymore, does he? Yeah. So he did his thing, and he left the city. And so I'm kind of wondering if term limits are the way to go, because our last council started to get a little static, and not static. What's the word I'm looking for?
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, it's on mine too. Well, anyhow, I thought they were in there for a little too long, and they kind of lost touch with what was going on and with how Burbank is. And I think we have the new blood. The council's good, but I just think, 8 years might be long enough. But yeah, so that, the Charter Committee Committee, that was it for their only recommendation. And the council, if they want to change something, they're going to have to put it on the ballot and let people vote for it. Because you can't change by ordinance. You can only change a charter by vote.
I think that word was stagnant. You were looking
stagnant. There you go.
From Alabama or Georgia or
I thought the old council got the old council got a little stagnant at times.
Yes.
Out of touch and stagnant.
I think that's where Mr. Durling would have been able to pipe in for us.
Yep. Well,
so forth. So, but now, Charter Review Committee, they're appointed.
Each council member appointed their own person. It wasn't by vote. It was each council member said, okay, who wants to be on the, and they appointed somebody themselves onto that committee.
And
it's
do they have a term? How long?
And now the committee, once they do their final report, they're now disbanded for 5 years.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird. It's just.
Yeah. But at least it's something they talked about. I tried to watch the meetings, but they didn't record the meetings. So it was kind of frustrating. Well, let's move on to Wednesday. Our Senior Citizens Board is going to meet at 1 p.m. at the Jocelyn Adult Center. So if you're a
senior citizen
and you want to go,
you know what?
Just don't fall asleep during the meeting. I can imagine I have to ring a bell at the end and wake people up or something.
Wait a minute. You know what?
You
and I qualify.
Yeah, that's true. And guess what? I'm sure half the people listening to this are probably falling asleep already right now too. So, Thursday, everybody, Thursday. You know what?
Thursday.
What? It's, and I feel bad for the people who are born because they'll get a birthday every 4 years. And why is that, Ross? What is Thursday?
Leap year. Oh my God.
Oh, there it is. That's our word of the week.
Word of the week.
And in
That's
fact,
our word.
It's actually 2 words, but you know what? We cheat now and then. So word of the week is leap year.
And what do you win if you, if you...
Well, send us an email and an email to contest at myBurbank.com and put in the subject line leap year. And I said leap year, right? There you go. Well, I reset that thing. And
you'll
win a gift card for $25 for Hill Street Cafe.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
The winner is who our old Alexa picks.
And how's that go? Yummy, yummy chicken dinner? They do that and everything else.
They do a chicken dinner, don't they?
Oh, they do.
So, yeah, please send that in, and you can be our latest winner. So, and I don't know if people realize, we also give out gift cards in our weekly newsletter also.
That's right. And you know what I noticed today? On Monday, the person that throws that together is Ashley.
Yes.
Erickson, and it's guaranteed on a Monday. And she picks out a winner of a gift card for, I believe, also
It's too bad. I get about one every 3 or 4 weeks. Somebody actually does, send in for their gift card, and they should be reading our newsletter every Monday when it comes out.
What's the word?
It's leap year. Okay. So anyway, that's Thursday is the extra day of the year. Enjoy it. Moving on to the weekend.
We are up to one of your favorite events.
Well, yeah, it is. The dig event. Can you dig it?
The force is with him.
We have our dig event. So we have at Cambridge Park at 8 a.m. And they're going to pick weeds and do whatever they do. They're going to bring their hose with them. And
no, it says bring gloves. What else? It gives you a couple. Oh, wear real shoes.
Yeah.
And I think weeding material or weeding.
And they supply the hose.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
McCambridge Park's pretty big, so you got a lot to.
They didn't say where at McCambridge Park that they're going to meet, but they just said McCambridge Park. And I had to say,
for a lot of people with buckets.
It's probably going to be raining, so I would check before you go to make sure that because one thing you don't want to get is a wet hoe.
Wow! Wait, where did that come? I didn't see that in the show notes.
Well, that's a little humor for those who've left this far in the show. Saturday, they're also going to have a meeting at. I found this interesting. A meeting at 10 a.m. in the community services building, but it says the capacity is only 20 people. So hopefully, not a lot of people are interested. But I got to think they are.
20 people.
They're going to have an update on the progress of the Dick Clark Dog Park construction.
Now, where's your dog barking?
Where's my dog barking? He's that's the wrong dog.
There you go.
The Park and Rec invites you for an informational meeting, and you'll be on the first to learn about the latest updates. And I think if you were listening to our podcast a couple weeks ago, you'd actually be the first to learn what's going on there and their decision that the Park and Rec Board made on the plans with the parking inside and the whole thing. So
I hope these people don't go and say, "Here, I have $600,000 for you to finish that park."
Wouldn't that be nice? Right now, they're anticipating fall to have it done by fall. We'll see.
We'll see. You know what?
See.
Dick Clark, it's great that it'll be named Dick Clark. It's, I remember they've talked about Starlight Bowl, Brace Canyon. They talked about the ground's awaiting.
Yep. They're going to have a parking lot in the middle, and one side's big dogs, and one side's little dogs.
That's right. Arf, arf, bow, wow.
And then the food truck will be there to serve you hot dogs.
Ooh, I wonder if they took that into consideration.
Well, I'm sure some smart food truck will be there.
Yeah, exactly.
One of those things they have by Home Depot or whatever, the hot dog thing. Yeah. Why not?
Dogs love hot dogs.
Oh, yes, they do.
Great training aid. If you want dog's response to food, and a lot of trainers will use your dog's asleep under my leg here. He's got his new toy, and he's not letting. Yep. You notice it's 2 inches from his nose.
Yes, it is.
You touch that toy now, you might lose a finger.
It's amazing
because it looks like a hot dog. But I learned a long time ago from a good friend that's a trainer. Take a hot dog, cut it up into little tiny pieces. You can get your dog to do somersaults, flips, and everything else.
Probably get me to do the same thing.
Well, you like those kosher big dogs.
Yes, I do. Okay, well, I guess that's we've gotten to the part of the show. We're a little over an hour in, so it's time to come up with the one and the only that would be
Ross's rant. Ross's rant. Ross's rant.
I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
Me. What's up, Doc?
And like I said, well, boys, get ready. Mine aren't as hot as the flames under me tonight, if you're watching the video. But I have a couple of rants or things that I want to bring up. And one of them was, I recently heard that Nickelodeon employees, they did a pretty big layoff, and almost everybody out of our local Nickelodeon studios got laid off. I guess it's the mother company laid off 800 to 900 people.
Is that a Paramount company?
Yes.
It's about ready to be sold?
CBS, Paramount, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the sad part about that is that's a result of the strikes. In the long run, animation is getting hit, and I'm told all the animation studios. But it's sad to see Nickelodeon. They do so much in our community that they probably will have to cut some of that back. So I know restaurant owners during COVID were helping people out. Maybe they can also still do the same thing for Nickelodeon employees. And also, I heard Friday, Crumble Cookies. Now, we've seen that building at the corner of Magnolia and Hollywood Way. I've lost count how many people said.
The old pizza place.
Well, that's next door.
Oh, that's next door.
That's next
That's
door.
next to that. That used to be an old pizza place before that.
And before that?
It was a Quiznos, I think.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
It just blows me away.
It wasn't Bethany. It was
what was it?
Bethany was up on Glen Oaks. What was that? It was
Bars TV.
Bars. It was a place I bought my first ever VCR for my parents.
Really? Now,
Yeah. I bought.
And do you still have it?
No, I don't have my parents either.
Well, it's I noticed that the line out the door for Crumble Cookie was longer than the line for Portos.
Really?
2 days in a row, people said it was down and around the block.
Now, where are those people parking, I wonder?
Well, I was going to give a little secret.
Oh, you're going to give them a roof secret, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, let them have it.
If you're going to Crumble Cookies, pull around the back of the building, and that building has roof parking. You can go up there, and there's a stairwell down, and you don't have to hunt for parking.
How many people know that? There's actually a parking lot on top of the building.
Yep. I bet not a lot, but that's the secret for you. But I'm told that the Crumble Cookies, I guess they have one in North Hollywood everybody's been going to. Somebody did tell me that Weight Watchers is opening up the block. So when you're done at Crumble Cookies, you can go to Weight Watchers. But cookies, Portos, new pizza place, what do you need to leave Magnolia Park for?
Yeah. Good luck parking, though.
So things are changing in Burbank. Don't blink.
In fact, I think you and I are talking about very soon now doing our first of our Where Have They Gone restaurants. We're going to do a little, I call podcasts on all the restaurants that have come and gone in Burbank over the years. And we'll have some great memories for you. So we've had a couple people, we talk about it once in a while on the show, and people say, when they start talking about it, I said, it's a good podcast to do. So we're going to do a couple podcasts on all the restaurants. Ross has been compiling a list, checking it twice.
I'm looking at my notes here on my phone, and I noticed the camera was on me for so long. I hope people don't mind seeing the bald heads I guess editing might have to help some jumping around there, some B-roll.
Yeah, we don't. You are the B-roll right now.
It's funny, trying to do camera operation, and I got to commend, when Craig is here, Derling, he's usually operating the camera.
Yeah, he's pretty good at it too.
And you do
I'm doing the sound and the hosting.
Yeah, and I just have to sit here and keep.
I'm the moderator, not the hosting, but we're all hosts. More about moderating.
So I just noticed that, and oops, but what a show.
What a show. Another week.
And what did you say in our show notes?
Well,
we got 20 minutes.
Yeah, and we're about an hour and 13 minutes into this. So.
Holy smokums. And we talked about everything from Dodger's new toy to hot dogs and crumble cookies.
Absolutely.
Well, that was
the week that was.
The week that was for
last week. And the week that will be for this week, which was February 26th.
That's right. And the big word of the week was
leap year.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say it now. For Craig Sherwood and for Ross Benson, for Mr. Derling, who is on special assignment, but I'm thankful that he knows how to get a hold of me 24 hours a day via this phone. Have a good week, folks. See you next week.
myBurbank Talks would like to thank all of myBurbank's advertisers for their continued support. Burbank Water and Power, Cusimano Real Estate Group, UME Credit Union, Burbank Chamber of Commerce, Gain Credit Union, Providence St. Joseph Medical Center, Community Chevrolet, Media City Credit Union, UCLA Health, Tequila's Burbank, Logix Credit Union, Hill Street Cafe, Bertain Escobar Wealth Management, and the UPS Store on 3rd Street.